Hey there, welcome back to Reps and Redemption. I am so glad you are here today. Wow, this week has been amazing. How is your week going? How is your day? I am comparing a few things today. I want to talk about certain workouts, well, one in particular, and then also the differences between a stay-at-home mom and homemaker and why I'm changing up a few of my verbiage words that I use for reps and redemption. So let's get started. Welcome to Reps and Redemption. What would your life look like if you started to prioritize your health and your faith? Have you been up late at night Googling healthy grocery lists, upper body workouts, or quiet time with God ideas? Hey there, I'm Ashley Harvey, college athlete, Jesus follower, now wife and stay-at-home mom of 3 daughters. In this podcast, you will be motivated to build your physical strength, increase in biblical wisdom, and utilize tactical health tips. If you're ready to be a part of a like-minded community of moms who want to be bold in their faith and live well, you're in the right place. Grab an iced coffee or a Celsius and head to the gym. Let's dive in. Hey, how are you? I am glad you're here today. I'm going to be chatting a little bit about the differences before we really dive into the meat of this episode. Really quick, the differences that I have learned between a stay-at-home mom and a homemaker, and why I'm leaning more towards this homemaking lifestyle, if you will. So there's been several changes in my life, obviously with adding more children and schedules and getting to the gym. And I used to say, I am a stay-at-home mom, or I'm just a stay-at-home mom, or I work from home, or I'm trying to build a business from home. And those are all fine things to say. But I looked up the differences recently between a stay-at-home mom and a homemaker. And the real difference is that a stay-at-home mom typically spends much of her time caring for children, while a homemaker focuses on managing the home and family as a whole. And there's similarities with the two, obviously, because as homemakers, we are also moms and we are also caring for our children. And it is important to recognize that each provide unique benefits and opportunities. But I would say most of us, as that have referred to ourselves as stay-at-home moms, I think most of us are also doing the cooking, cleaning, meal prepping, planning, managing of appointments, and so on. So homemakers, on the other hand, that's what they do. They take care of the family, the kids. They have the opportunity to take charge of their homes, create a space that, our families are comfortable in. And in this process, we develop systems and we learn to manage finances and chores, like I mentioned before, meal planning, and so much more. Homemakers often find satisfaction in creating a space that fosters well-being, unity, and love within the family. And I think that is why I am so pulled towards this word. And I'm not talking about, even though I love reading about it, or like Little House on the Prairie, Ma Ingalls, reading about those things. And, I've been making a lot of things from scratch recently. And it's not just that, though. I think I'm pulled towards this because homemakers really want to foster a nourishing life. And that is something that is super important to me. And also, we are building our own skills and passing these skills and these attitudes down to our children, especially our daughters. And I know of a lot of homemakers that have created a business because of the skills that they've had building up their home. And I think the difference is that we say this, and I used to be super, super guilty of this, but, someone say, "Oh, what do you do now? I haven't seen you in years. Like, how's it going?" "Oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom." Like, look down a little bit to the side, kind of embarrassed because, that's, quote, all we do. But it's just so not true. there is so much growth and stability and love that comes from this role and these multiple roles in one. And I want to encourage you to maybe maybe just don't think of yourself, if that term bothers you. I don't think it's ever necessarily bothered me, but I think I haven't really taken it to heart of all the things that I do, and I might not be adding financially in the way that I would love to. But these years are golden, and this is my opportunity to create, just foster well-being, unity, and love within my family, and to place those relationships and to point my children to the Lord. And this is so much more than, oh yeah, I just stay at home, right? I mean, think about it. There is so much reward in this. And I want to just encourage you that we are capable of so much. And sometimes it costs, right? I mean, or maybe I should say many times, it costs our time and our energy, but it is so worth it. I want to share a quote with you. It's by Barbara Corricorn. I don't know if I said that right, but she was a real estate investor and former Shark Tank judge. And she has said, running a household is not unlike running a business. It takes a lot of organization and hard work. This quote perfectly encapsulates the potential of homemaking. With dedication and passion, we as homemakers can create an incredibly successful business out of our experiences. And maybe that's not the season you're in, but maybe you like brainstorming about these things. And I know I do. I have that entrepreneurial spirit, and I love thinking about what could I make, what could I create, and not necessarily to bring in an income, but that would be nice, right? So I just want to encourage you. I was just wondering the other day, like, what are the differences and what are the similarities, and how can I, like, which one do I really feel attached to the most? And so you might see me kind of change up the words that I use in the Facebook group and kind of the tone and style of it as well, because we are doing so many other things. Of course, for a lot of us with younger kids, we are focusing on them a majority of the day, but we're also learning how to, in my case, I made sauerkraut last week from scratch. We're also learning how to create a better laundry system, me. And we are managing so many things throughout the day, and our minds are going while we are trying to be present with our children and just lead them the way that God wants us to. So that is a very beautiful thing. And I just kind of wanted to touch on that before we dive in. But I'm still unsure on what I'm going to title this episode, but I think I'm going to go with the number one weightlifting exercise that will change a homemaker's life forever. And as we know, making time for self-care is often one of the greatest challenges we face. But there is one weightlifting exercise that could really change our lives for the better. Listen, I'm talking to you, but I love working out, and I have built this habit over years and years and years. So if you are just starting and this is something new for you, do not feel discouraged, because I started this way before I had kids. So it was a lot easier to implement, even though it got really hard. It was a lot easier to implement when I had them, because I was so used to doing it, so used to going to the gym, so used to working out outside or going for a run, that I had to do it. And my husband understood that. Like, it was part of who I am and something I love to do, a passion that I have, that God placed inside of me to just live a healthier life. And I really think that if we can kind of push aside comparison, I just want to encourage you to try something new that you've been wanting to try when it comes to your health. Laura Ingalls Wilder, the author of the Little House on the Prairie series, said it best when she famously wrote, "I am beginning to learn that it is the sweet, simple things of life which are the real ones after all." And I think we can overcomplicate things as stay-at-home moms and, like I said earlier, homemakers, and think that we have to get so many things done when really only a few things truly matter. And that's, time with our family, our space, our home, our walk with the Lord. And I truly believe what she meant as well is our health. It does matter if we take care of our bodies, if we nourish our bodies, and if we really are selfish about our health, because it's not selfish. It's actually quite selfless, because we could choose all the other urgent things that need to be done. But this is truly important. We must eat healthy, exercise, sleep, hydrate. All these things matter, and they point to longevity. We want to be there for our kids when they're adults. We want to see our grandkids. We don't want to be, the research has shown, and there's this one podcast I love, check it out, Fitness Stuff for Normal People. I love this podcast. They're an hour long. I don't care. I love it. I hang on every word almost. But they mentioned research on their show is that a lot of people, older people, end up in assisted living because they can't do 1/2 rep of a squat to go to the bathroom. And I'm telling you, God willing, and with my efforts, God willing, and my efforts combined, that will not happen to me or to you. And when it comes to taking care of our bodies and looking after our physical health, weightlifting is one of those sweet and simple things, like Laura said, that can really make a difference in our lives. But in order to get the most from lifting weights, there's one particular exercise that is absolutely essential. It is a compound exercise. And if you don't remember what that is, I will link to the last episode in regards to compound and isolation exercises. This exercise will change your life. Here we go. It is squats. They may not seem like much at first, but squats will give you the biggest bang for your buck. Like I said in that episode, because it's a compound exercise, it doesn't only work your quads, but also other parts of your body, such as your hamstrings, your glutes, a little bit of your back. You're holding the bar. Squats can help you increase your overall strength and balance and power. And that's what we're trying to build. We are trying to be, we're with our best efforts, stronger moms, balanced homemakers, powerful women. And all of us, can do this. These are key components to living a healthy lifestyle. Also, I don't know if you know this, and of course, I learn as I go as well, even though I've been squatting now since I was 16. But squats can also improve our posture and flexibility. Now, this is actually one of the best exercises you can do for your pelvic floor. Did you know that? And it also helps you burn calories and build muscle at the same time. It will eventually, if you're doing these right, correctly, and definitely, make sure you're doing them correctly, but it will help reduce lower back pain and strengthen your core muscles. I mentioned that about the pelvic floor. That's our core muscles. So from a spiritual perspective, the Bible teaches us to honor the Lord with our wealth and with the first fruits of our crops. So maybe it's not, because we're not, some of us, myself included, we are homemakers and we are stay-at-home moms. So our health would be our first fruits. Taking the time to cultivate a physically healthy body, is honoring to God. And it can change our lives for the better. I also want to share with you how finally this week I was able to hit the gym. My goal is 4 times a week, and that's actually my max. I am good. And guess what? I am happy with 3 days a week. And if you're interested in how I work out and how I choose my workouts, feel free to message me, DM me, whichever is easiest for you. I'd love to share it with you. Once the website gets up and running, I will have it on there, absolutely free. You can download it and go. But if you're a homemaker looking for ways to improve your physical health and overall well-being, consider adding squats to your routine, okay? With patience and commitment, I promise you, you will experience so many benefits with weightlifting and get on track to living a healthier life and a more balanced life. Now, if you can only just do body weight air squats, oh, I don't have any weights. Well, do you have, a carton of almond milk or a gallon of raw milk? Go ahead and start squatting it. There's so many creative ways you could do this. Now, when I squat, I know I'm going to lift heavy, and I'm not telling you a 10 on each side. No. I might start there just for a warm-up set, and then I'll move into 20 pounds on each side, 25 on each side, and then so on. I'll let you know my max once I max out there. It's been a little slight more challenge with my belly sticking out a little bit because I'm approaching the 3rd trimester. But I do believe that this exercise will also help you in your role as a mom, because we're always bending over, picking up, squatting down. Our kid wants us to pick them up again, or we need to get a pot from out of the cabinet. And it's just so beneficial for us to lift, if you know what I mean, and progressively get stronger and stronger by adding more weight. Isn't that crazy that is how we build muscle? One of the best ways is to progressively lift heavier things. And isn't that just kind of how life works? Progressively, things are added to our life, whether it's a move, a career change, more kids, and we just progressively, it's really hard at first, and it has its ups and downs, but we just progressively get stronger. And that is my hope for you, friend. I hope this episode has encouraged you, inspired you, challenged you to squat and honor the Lord with your body. If this episode motivated, inspired, or challenged you, will you share with a friend? I would be so grateful if you could leave Reps and Redemption an Apple Podcast review. This is the only way I know you like the show. Please join the Facebook group for accountability and community. Link in the show notes. Be bold, mama, and live well. Until next time.